I'm often asked what the difference is between a director and a producer. The director makes the film, the producer makes the film happen.
One of the things in pre-production that a producer does, or pre-production, is focus actually on what you're going to end up with and work backwards. So you start with, what is this film? What technically do you need to end up with? What creatively do you need to end up with? And how are you going to get there? So the producer's job is to really have their eye on the very end point and build everything backwards.
As a producer, I guess, for Hamish, it was seeing the script, breaking it down, and kind of talking together about, I guess, what Hamish felt he needed, like in terms of time to realise the script, in terms of putting in place things like a budget that would accommodate his vision, and then, slashing his vision down by about, 30%.
I think of the producer-director relationship very much like a marriage in many ways, where you have to be incredibly supportive and loyal to each other to, really work well together.
If the producer's doing a really good job, they're probably wandering around apparently doing nothing. If you can't see them and they're running around like a flea in the fit, they're actually desperately trying to bring things back and hold them together.
It's like a dance where you're making sure that you're not shutting down artistic possibility, but making sure that you are going to have the ability to bring the film in.
You need to be scanning the whole time for what needs adjusting, but without interfering with everybody's work. As soon as somebody's doing somebody else's job, they're not doing their own.
I think that having a good team and having a solid team of people who know what they're doing is really helpful, and, your kind of really core people like your DOP and your soundy and your editor and just locking those people in. And in, with short films, people generally are really keen to help.
The thing that people forget with a short film, or any film, is that you go down to tiny little building blocks of what's going to end up on screen, and somebody needs to be keeping the big picture in mind, keeping the really big picture in mind. Say, well, if we spend too much more time on this, we're never going to get the scene that's really important, and this scene actually might not end up in the film.
Just being there on the set, making sure everybody's happy, filling any needs that the crew or the cast may have. Producers are extremely undervalued, and they're really a good producer can make or break a movie.
They're needed when everybody else has hit the wall. It's like writing, you get to a certain point where nobody knows where to go next. They've sort of hit the wall. Then somebody needs to come in and put a trampoline at the bottom of the wall, so that you can step back a bit and then another run up and then pow, you get to the top.